the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Babin, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it, and thank you, witnesses, for being here. Dr. Anna Lowit, if you don't mind, the EPA's risk assessment process explicitly includes opportunities for experts who did not contribute to the assessment to review and comment on a draft of the scientific analysis. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The EPA's risk assessments, like the one on glyphosate, developed by the Office of Pesticide Programs, are also subjected to rigorous independent peer review. Is that correct?
So EPA's cancer evaluation has been subject to the FIFRA Scientific Advisory Panel. That's true.
Okay. As I understand it, the National Academies, which is similar to IARC, develops reports by expert panels and has outside peer reviews and evaluate each and every report to ensure scientific accuracy. However, unlike EPA and NAS, IARC monographs do not employ any independent outside peer reviews. Instead, an IARC monograph working group collaborates behind closed doors to select studies, analyze data, and reach conclusions. So without any public engagement or independent scientific peer review, the working group acts hand in hand with IARC staff as judges, juries, and executioners. Clearly, these IARC procedures fall well short of meeting 21st century standards for transparency and scientific credibility, and I would like to know if you agree with that.
So what I can answer is EPA's transparent policy approach that our cancer evaluation was reviewed by the FIFRA, excuse me, Scientific Advisory Panel. The transcript from that meeting is actually publicly available. Our document is now available for public, will be open for public comment. It's been released on our docket. And so our process is quite transparent.
Do any of the other witnesses agree with that statement? Now, let me repeat it. Without any public engagement or independent scientific peer review, the working group acts hand in hand with IARC staff as judge, jury, and executioner. IARC procedures fall well short of meeting 21st century standards of transparency and scientific credibility. Would you other three agree with that? Dr. Pastoor.
Yes, I would generally agree with that. I think IARC needs to be brought up to the standards of transparency that is exhibited by the United States EPA.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Sass.
I disagree because the meetings are open at IARC. Observers are invited. Monsanto was present. Other regulatory interests can also be present. So they're public in that sense that anybody who wants to be present can. Okay. And I also want to point out that EPA's Scientific Advisory Panel review of the not likely classification didn't agree with that classification.
Dr. Tarone?
Yeah, I wouldn't agree completely with the statement, but what I believe is that right now the Monograph program appears to think they're accountable to no one. So I do think that they need to be brought in, show some accountability to somebody. The fact that they did what they did with the glyphosate working group, I mean, that should not happen. The exclusion of exculpatory rodent studies many times. There's just absolutely no way that should happen. So I just would like to see more accountability.
Absolutely. Okay, is it scientifically proper to redo a peer-reviewed study's data analysis with a different statistical analysis than was originally used for the study, and then use this reanalysis without first ensuring that it undergoes robust, independent peer review? Dr. Lowit.
So the first half of your question is about reevaluating scientific data, and I would agree with that statement, and that is actually part of an independent evaluation of those data, is often to reevaluate the statistics. And an EPA has actually, in fact, redone some of the statistics for the glyphosate cancer evaluation.
Okay.
The second part of your question is about peer review. Peer review is important, and in the case of the cancer evaluation, we did have our statistics evaluated as part of the Scientific Advisory Panel.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Tarone, can I ask you that question?
I have no problem with people doing independent, different types of statistical analysis, although, you know, it does have to be peer reviewed, because sometimes you can pull tricks. you know, get the result you want. I mean, there's a lot of data dredging, p-hacking it's sometimes called, that goes on. So peer review is essential, though, when you are evaluating multiple different types of statistical analyses.
Absolutely. And my time has expired, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Gentleman's